What's up, you guys? It's Steve here, and wait till you see the video footage I've got of what President Joe Biden had to say yesterday in LA about the state of our economy, inflation, and everything going on, and you gotta let me know your thoughts in the comments down below when you see this, okay? This is your breaking news stimulus check update and stimulus package update. Now, first off, hope that you and the family are having a blessed Saturday. Let me know what you got planned in the comments down below. Family and I are planning on getting out for a little bit, having some family time, but wanted to give you a quick update as to what is going on. We've got some video footage here from CNN you're not going to want to miss. Covers everything very well. What the president had to say, what's unfolding right now as we had that major news coming out about the state of inflation that we're hearing. It's not going to be coming down, and we have not hit the peak, so prepare yourselves. And the CPI data we're hearing is actually not even accurate. They're saying it's expected that what they're reporting as 8.6% year-over-year inflation, it's actually much worse than that because the data is actually skewed. And we're going to be seeing how Congress responds because they're going to be mentioning we are only 5 months away from the midterm elections, and right now Biden and Democrats' approvals are plummeting. People are saying we need you to address the issues we have with our economy. Let me know your thoughts, you guys, but take a look at the speech he gave yesterday. Headlines coming out. Biden team points at the Fed as inflation news worsens, saying, hey, the Federal Reserve, we're going to give you the space that you need to go ahead and take care of it. As they're actually coming out and confessing, it's so high, we can't bring the prices down. We don't know what to do. We're looking towards Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve. Please take care of this. Take a look. Biden blasts ripoff by shipping companies, attacks Exxon as inflation hits a fresh 40-year high, says Exxon made more money than God last year, blaming the oil companies for what's unfolding. And also, Biden says Putin's tax on both food and gas is to blame for the record high inflation. Biden says fighting inflation is his top economic priority as prices reach historic highs. Now, let me know your thoughts. I've heard a lot of people complaining about this recently, and that is that they're just pointing the finger at putting blame everywhere. And people are saying, well, even you're the president. And we don't necessarily want to hear who's to blame. We're suffering at this time. We need answers. We need solutions. We need somebody that's going to be active to get things done. Let me know your thoughts. And that's not only coming from the viewing community here or the American people. It's also coming from his fellow Democrats. As take a look at articles just coming out this week. Senator Bernie Sanders to Democrats, to the president. Change your course before you nosedive in November. Bernie Sanders outright coming out and saying the American people aren't stupid. You can't sit here and say you're going to do all these things and not do them, blame everybody else, and believe that you are going to stay in power in these upcoming midterm elections. Now, also, we're hearing that Bernie Sanders has issued warnings to the president before, saying, hey, you promised fourth federal level stimulus checks. Take a look over a year ago, saying you got to keep your promises. You promised the people stimulus checks. You promised the people all of these things, child tax credits, wiping out student loan debt, extending unemployment benefits, all of these provisions, and you have not kept your promises. Do not think that people are going to favor you in upcoming elections. Now, Bernie Sanders, he has been actively proposing things. We actually just heard him say he wants to do a $200 per month bump up for those on Social Security. Him and Elizabeth Warren just introduced this just a couple days ago. I shared it with you. And if you missed the video footage on all of this, check them out in my previous videos. Did a video on him saying you got to keep your promises, and that video on that $2,400 per year bump up that would go out $200 per month. Check those out right after this one if you missed it. And a lot of stuff is coming up as we approach these midterm elections. And we're hearing them say, listen, we can't pass through legislation. If you can't get it done, Joe Biden, you got to stop blaming people. You got to step up and do those executive orders and those executive actions to get things done. Now, we had heard the first of which was going to be wiping out student loan debt of $10,000. And we heard from Kevin O'Leary, who said, why are you doing this? Who is advising you? Because that should not be the first thing. That is not going to get people's support in these upcoming elections, and it's not going to be as effective as you might think. He's saying, why don't you step up and do some things that are going to resonate with the American people? And a lot of people are saying, send out the stimulus checks. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Now, very quickly, before I dive into the video footage and share with you what it was that he had to say, take a look at what's being reported. The Labor Department said on Friday, yesterday, that the Consumer Price Index, a broad measure of the price for everyday goods, including gasoline, groceries, and rent, rose 8.6% in May from just a year ago. Prices jumped 1% month over month period from April, and those figures were both higher than the 8.3% headlines figure figured, and the 0.7% monthly gain forecasted by economists. Now, it marks the fastest pace of inflation since December of 1981, and the president from the Port of Los Angeles Friday said fighting inflation is his top economic priority, while again casting blame on Russian President Vladimir Putin's war in Ukraine for the surge in prices. And he said, today, I'd like to speak about my top economic priority, fighting inflation. I understand Americans are anxious, and they're anxious, and we've never seen anything like Putin's tax on both food and gas, he said. So, you guys, that is what has unfolded, and we're hearing that this inflation's not coming down anytime soon, and they've stopped saying it's going to come down. They're just saying, we feel your pain, and hopefully they're going to be doing something to address it here soon. So, let's take a look at the video footage. I'm going to be keeping you up to date on everything as it unfolds. And as I mentioned, as we get closer to midterm elections, very likely we're going to see a whole lot more proposals, bills, legislation, and very likely things passing for stimulus, if not through legislation, through executive orders, as we're in this midterm election and the pressure is on. Now, I'll keep you up to date on all of that. And also, if you're getting tired of waiting, you're not alone. States, counties, and cities are taking stimulus money they receive from the American Rescue Plan and passing their own packages, and in many cases, their own checks. And I'm going to make sure that you know what's available, because a lot of these aren't just going to be given to you. You have to apply just the way it is right now. So I'm going to make sure, though, that you know and you don't miss out, because we're hearing 90% of people that are eligible are missing out because they don't know what's available. So trying to raise awareness here on my channel and make sure that you know about everything. And if you appreciate that, don't forget, before we dive into the video footage, take a quick second, smash the like button for me, helps out the channel a ton. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments, share this out. If you want to stay up to date, it's totally free. Why not? Come join the Ram fam. All you got to do is take a quick moment, smash the subscribe button, and turn on the notification bell to be notified on updates right away. Any specific questions for me, hop onto Instagram, shoot me a DM at SteveRam3, and consider joining my second channel, Steve Ram Finance, to learn about growing wealth and personal finance. And oh yes, on those state, county, and city checks, we're assembling a massive, comprehensive list. You will not believe all of the work that is going into this, you guys, but I want to make sure that you've got it. So keep an eye out for that, all right? So that's on the way, but you guys, let's dive into the video footage. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.
President Biden today promised he's doing everything he can to tame inflation and bring down prices for Americans. The president says Russia's to blame, also oil companies and shipping conglomerates, as well as Republicans. Let's bring in our Caitlin Collins. She's covering the president out in Los Angeles right now. Caitlin, the White House is all too aware this issue of inflation could actually make or break the Democrats coming up in the midterms and in a presidential contest down the road.
Yeah, Wolf, it's a big vulnerability for this president and for his party. Of course, you saw him today not even try to sugarcoat these numbers, because really there's no sugarcoating to be done, given it was a very unpleasant surprise for the White House that was hoping these numbers were going to moderate at least slightly in May. And of course, instead they accelerated. And when you heard from President Biden today, he didn't try to make any predictions about when inflation is going to start to go down. And instead, he tried to empathize with Americans who are feeling the pain.
I understand Americans are anxious, and they're anxious for good reason.
President Biden staring down a massive political liability.
Make no mistake about it. I understand inflation is a real challenge to American families.
New data shows consumer prices soared last month, sending inflation climbing 8.6% from last year, the highest since 1981. Biden delivering the bad news today after predicting 6 months ago that the inflation crisis had hit its peak.
I think you'll see it change sooner than quicker, than more rapidly than it will take than most people think.
Prices are now higher for everything from food, fuel, rent to used cars, as Biden officials say that taming inflation is their highest priority.
We are open to ideas. Again, some of them require working with Congress. The president is focused on lowering costs for families.
But those same officials say that the bulk of the response will fall to the Federal Reserve, as Friday's numbers only offer more reason for the central bank to continue raising interest rates.
As part of his plan, I know this doesn't sound like a plan, but first and foremost, he respects the independence of the Federal Reserve.
The troubling figures could spell doom for Democrats in the upcoming midterm elections this November, as Biden lashed out at Republicans, shipping conglomerates, Russian President Putin, and oil companies today.
Exxon made more money than God this year.
president having a lot of criticism there, Wolf, as he was commenting on these new numbers today. One number the White House was hoping would go down was when it comes to prices on consumer goods. They thought potentially as they worked out issues with the supply chain, that number would start to change. You saw President Biden speaking at the Port of Los Angeles today during his trip here to the West Coast. Of course, those numbers are still high, just as the rest that we were just talking about, Wolf. And yes, this is going to potentially have a drag on Democrats in the midterm elections. That is the concern that you hear from a lot of President Biden's allies on Capitol Hill, because we are just 5 months away from the midterm elections. And look at this poll that came out this week. You see that President Biden's approval numbers are a lot lower than they were when he first took office, but his weakest point right now is on the economy, where he only gets a 28% approval rating, Wolf. So these are the numbers that the White House is very worried about when it comes to the inflation, because they thought it was going to start going down by now. Of course, you saw officials like the Treasury Secretary to you saying that they got it wrong when they said they thought inflation was just going to be temporary. Obviously, it is still here several months later. So now they're trying to focus on empathizing with Americans, on saying that they understand what they're going through, instead of telling them when it's going to come to an end, Wolf.
Well, there you have it, you guys. And again, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Now, as more information rolls out, which we're hearing there's going to be a lot in the upcoming days as we get closer to these elections, I'll be sure to let you know here on the channel. And as always, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you made it this far and you haven't already, don't forget to take a quick second, smash the like button, leave your comments, let me know what you got planned for the weekend. If you want to stay up to date, it's totally free. Why not? Come join the Ram fam, smash the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. Any specific questions for me, shoot them to me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRam3, and consider joining my second channel, Steve Ram Finance, to learn about growing wealth and personal finance. But with that being said, you guys, I will catch you in the next one. Have a blessed weekend. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.